President Trump calling members of the military to wish them happy holidays earlier this morning. During that call, he also spoke about our trade deal with China, or the coming trade deal. Listen.
As you know, we're now getting along very well with China and trade. In fact, they just took tariffs off more than 800 products where they were charging us tariffs, and now those tariffs are gone. But we made a very big deal with China recently. We made a very big deal with Mexico, Canada, North Korea, Japan, a $40 billion deal with Japan, and we have plenty of others coming.
Bringing former U.S. International Trade Commission Chief Peter Morici. Peter, great to see you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, the whole shebang.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. First of all, on China, and let's talk about trade in general, because we are in a position right now where all the work the president has been doing over the past couple of years in the USTR are beginning to pay off, no?
Absolutely. We've got this deal with China coming together with the deal with Mexico and Canada. Those will provide the template for future trade agreements, agreements that are based on real reciprocity. No more the U.S. lets in their products and they get to block ours. The China tariff, wonderful news. We're going to pay lower tariffs than anybody else because, after all, we've been China's biggest market. $100 billion more in exports a year if we get them, if the tariffs work, if the tariff cuts work, be a huge boost, hundreds of thousands of jobs.
And instead of dealing with the WTA, the president has been very specific, and so has the USTR and the Treasury Secretary. If China violates, because verification is the key here, it's always been tough. With the WTO, you had to go through months, if not years, of dealing with lawyers and everything. Here, if they lie or cheat in ways that counter the deals that they've signed on to, we just throw the tariffs back on.
Well, that's right. We have to see the text of the agreement, but that's the case. Going to the WTO with a trade problem is like bringing it to an academy of pastry chefs. You'll get something sweet to eat, but you won't get any satisfaction the next day.
Ooh, nice. I like the analogy. Yeah, very nice, very nice.
That's how you become a full professor.
Talk about heartburn, which is what you get if you eat what you're talking about. I want your reaction to what Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said over the weekend. She's claiming that America is evolving into a fascist society. Watch.
What we're living in right now is not an advanced society. It is fascism. What we have, what we're evolving into as well.
Do you think she has any clue what fascism is?
No, she didn't learn very much in college other than, how to stir up trouble. My feeling is that she should take her rhetoric and her language and go over to Saudi Arabia and see how long she stands on a street corner without anything up in her burqa or perhaps in jail. Or go to the western provinces of China. She'll certainly end up in some sort of rehabilitation camp. This is the one place in the world where we actually get challenged by people at the fringe for not being open enough and then having to be more open for them. It's absolutely absurd. But what it really serves to do is look who was there with her. Bernie. Right. All we would have needed would be Liz there, too. This should show people how moderate Donald Trump is for all of his shortcomings compared to this left-wing gaggle that they have over there in the Democratic Party. Right. I mean, it's absolutely tragic who's running for president over there. It's simply not fair. Well, this is a slander on donkeys.
What kills me is a lot of them are millionaires. I mean, AOC isn't there yet. She will be. That's what I predict. It's not going to be long before she makes enough money from speaking tours and everything to be a millionaire. But Bernie's a millionaire. Liz Warren has about $12 million. I mean,
Liz
millionaire
made almost $1 million last year. Liz made almost $1 million last year, about 4 times her Senate salary. The whole thing's absurd. Yeah. It's the society of hypocrites is what it is. I mean, really, it's nothing but demagogues and hypocrites over there. But fascism? I mean, let her do this. It's the gift that keeps on giving. How can you be a reasonable person in Nassau County, which is the big suburb of New York on Long Island, and not say, this lady's bats?
I don't know. All right, Peter, Stewart likes to talk about the 10-year yield. It is at a 5-month high right now. What do you make of that?
Well, people are having confidence in the economy again, and with that, long rates go up a bit. But I would point to this to you. Although that's about the same as the yield on the S&P, the dividend yield, the S&P is trading at about 25 price-earnings ratio. on trailing, and that's in line with the 25-year historical average. This market is not overvalued. If profits go up 10% next year, it easily justifies another 10% increase in valuations. No problem at all. And I suspect the profits are going to go up more than that everywhere except Boeing.
So you would feel comfortable with what, 80% of your portfolio in stocks, or what?
Well, I got to remember, I'm 71 years old, so I have more of a fixed income hedge than that. I'm about 60-40 because of my age. But if I were like you, still working, still collecting this big Fox salary, 80-20 makes a lot of sense to me.
All right. We're not too far apart with age, by the way.
Well, you know what I'm saying. If you're a 50-year-old and not a 71-year-old, 80-20, you know, that's about right.
All right. Well, Yale economist Stephen Roach said in a Market Watch op-ed that trouble next year could come from the world's central banks. Now, we see these negative interest rates, although some of them are souring on negative interest rates. What do you think?
Well, one of the things we've learned is that if you cut interest rates too far, you actually damage your banks. The trouble is unwinding them, because you develop these zombie companies that are dependent on like 1% interest or 2% interest rates on their junk bonds. That's the problem. The problem with these things is unwinding them. But that's not where the problem is. The problem is right here in the American financial sector. Like, for example, with car loans, where people are taking out $45,000 car loans on $25,000 vehicles because they've been rolling over one car loan into after another. And they're bundling them into bonds and selling to old folks in Florida again.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, doesn't it? The only thing this time is the people that are doing it aren't banks. So the people are going to go bust the equivalent. Today's analog of First Jersey. Remember them?
Yeah.
What I want to see is, are we going to get some jail time out of this stuff? Because a lot of these loan applications are fraudulent. Okay. A lot of these bond offerings are fraudulent, and I would like to know how Standard & Poor's and Moody's managed to rate them.
Peter, we got to leave it at that. Have a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays to you.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.